And yes, I met the Prime Minister too. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Janer here. I recently posted a video called 11 Years in the Netherlands, 5 Things I Love About This Country. And it really gained some traction. That video was filmed while I was walking around in Amsterdam, and I kept things brief to stay within a short format. But of course, there is so much more I love about this country. So I will definitely continue sharing more of my experiences here. In this video, I wanted to dive into 3 more things I like about the Netherlands. For context, I moved here from Spain back in 2014 as part of a transfer within the same multinational company I still work for today. I've lived in Amsterdam, Haarlem, and currently live near Eindhoven. Alright, so let's start. One thing I noticed early on is how modest people are. You rarely hear anyone brag about anything. There is even a Dutch saying, doe normaal, which means act normal. When I first moved here, I found myself talking about the cool job I landed or where I got accepted to pursue my MBA degree, etc. And meanwhile, I noticed there were wealthy people around me who never showed up. That was a realization for me, and I quickly adopted the Dutch way of staying humble. Even politicians here are low-key. In many countries, they go around in motorcades and security. But in the Netherlands, it's completely normal to see them biking or walking to work. To illustrate, here is a photo of Mark Rutte, my mother and I from 2019. At the time, I was living in Haarlem, and my mom was visiting. We went to The Hague for a day trip. As we were walking in the city, she suddenly spotted Rutte walking down the street, and before I could stop her, she walked up to him. I was a little embarrassed. She introduced herself and said, "My son here lives in your country." We had a nice little chat. When I was taking their picture, Rutte said, "You don't want to be in the picture too?" So I joined, and it is such a nice memory to look back on. Alright, number 2. People here really know how to work efficiently. But just as importantly, they know when to switch off and enjoy life. That could mean biking, walking in the park, spending time with family, or just being outdoors, especially when the sun shines. In contrast, especially when I'm in North America, I notice how often people define themselves by their profession. "So what do you do?" is often one of the first questions I get. But in the Netherlands, and more broadly in Europe, work is something we do. It's not who we are. More and more people are working part-time or doing 4-day weeks, and there is no stigma around it. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that becomes the norm in the future. I'm not necessarily advocating for working less, but I'm all about balance and efficiency, which seem to be working well over here. Alright, number 3. One thing I really value about life in the Netherlands is how safe, calm, and empowering it is, especially for kids. You will see children biking to school on their own, taking public transport, or just out and about independently, and even working in supermarkets. And that's totally normal here. But what really stood out to me is how kids are treated. They are spoken to like adults. They are asked, "What do you think about this?" That encourages them to think for themselves and form their own opinions, not just follow the status quo. It builds confidence and independence from a young age. So it's not just about physical safety, it's about trust, respect, and giving young people a voice. And I think that says a lot about Dutch society. The education system is very interactive and certainly not one-directional. I got my executive MBA at Nijrode Business University, which is in Brooklyn. And if you didn't know, that's where the name Brooklyn comes from. I felt that the education was great with lots of interaction between students and the professors. Real-life scenarios were discussed, and classmates brought in their experience for discussion, rather than one-way theoretical knowledge transfer. Alright, so those are the 3 things that I wanted to share in today's episode. Let me know what you think about these. Are there other things that you like about Dutch way of living? Let me know in the comments down below. And feel free to like and subscribe for future videos where I will share more about my life experiences in the Netherlands and beyond. Thank you.